Welcome to this hands-on course where you will learn how to create a Google Drive clone harnessing the power of Next.js, Typescript, Tailwind CSS, and Firebase 9. Dive deep into the synergy of these technologies as Nishant Singh guides you step-by-step to build a feature-rich, responsive, and scalable cloud storage application. Nishant is a popular instructor on our channel, and I'm sure you'll learn a ton from this course.
Hey guys, Nishant here. So, let's learn how to build a Google Drive clone using Next.js, TypeScript, Tailwind CSS, and Firebase, along with Next.auth. So first, let's sign up to our application. We will see GitHub sign up. We are now signed in, and the folder name is called root. So we have the option to add a file or add a folder. So let me do a folder first. We can name this as folder 3. Click create, and we now have a folder 3 here. So if I open this, we will be on this page, and we don't have any files or folder inside the folder 3. So we can add a file if I create, or if I choose a file. Let me choose any file. Let's say this photos or any photo, not the private, but fine. We will see a bar of progress here with my image at the top. It is the, let's say, my GitHub image. So if I add a picture, it will reflect in here. We can also add a folder. So let's say nested folder. Click create, and it will be in here. So we can add nested folder inside another folder. Open this. We can add a file inside. So let me add this file now. So it will automatically upload it, and once the file upload completes, the image will be here that we can open in a new tab in Google Chrome. See, if I go back, we don't have the image in here because they are private to the folder. So if I come to the root, we are having these files. Come to folder 3, we are having these files. Come to nested folder, we are having this file. So if I go back, in folder 1, we have this folder 1 of nested folder 1 and the image. Click it. We have these files with my files folder. Basically what I want to say is, we can create a folder inside a folder inside another folder, and the same is true with files as well. So let's learn how to build this application using the said technologies. So let me just first tell you what is that I have on screen. So it is a thing called T3 stack, which is basically a combination of Next.js with TypeScript along with some other things that I will show you now. So if I open terminal here, and if I just do if I do npm create t3 app @latest, enter. Let's name the app as drive clone or 2.0, we can say drive 2.0, enter. We will use TypeScript. So here are the things that I told you about, like we have Next.auth and authentication library, then we have Tailwind. We also have TRPC and Prisma, but we will not use them. So okay, let me just add Prisma in order to use Next.auth. Just press enter now. Okay, we don't need a repo for now, so let me skip it. Yes, so I want to run npm install, so don't skip it. And let me just zoom the screen. We want import aliases like, let's say @. Okay, it's not working, so just okay. We can say @, enter. So it is installing these dependencies, so we can wait for it. Meanwhile, let me go over to this website called Tailwind. Okay, there's a library called for Tailwind. I don't remember the name, so it is, I think, let me see, Tailwind library for UI. Let me see. Yes, this was the Daisy UI. I forgot the name, so I am sorry for that. Maybe not. So this is the library that we will install later, which is called Daisy UI. Basically, it is a, I can say, wrapper for Tailwind, where we can simply use the Tailwind classes here. So we can just go to, I can just go to customize component or components. For example, if you want to use a button for Tailwind, we can simply use class of or class name of btn. Or if I want colors like primary or secondary or outlined, we can use btn accent, btn outline, or rounded or full px16 and whatnot. So it's done. Now let me open the folder. And we also have to do npx prisma db push to push the prisma schema to the database. Then we can run npm run dev, and if I want to push the repo to GitHub, we can simply push it. So let me open this drive clone where it is drive 2.0. So let me do npm ai. Okay, it's done. So let me push the first. Let me run the application. So we can say npm run dev. Let me collapse this, and it is on localhost 3000. Let me open this. So we need to go to the env file, and here you will have Discord client ID and client secret. So we should have a sign up button, but it is not here. So I think what we can do is just go to source. Okay, this page is called pages app.tsx, index.tsx. Yes. So let me push the schema to Prisma using this command called npx prisma db push. It has been pushed. So now let me go to this library called Next.auth. I think we have to create a button and so on, things like that, in order to use Next.auth. So we have installed this. If I go to package.json file, we will see we will have Zod, React, Next.auth, and this kind of stuff. Now let me also add this library called DaisyUI using this command. Enter. We also have to import this plugin into our module.exports in tailwind.config.ts. So we have plugins. We just need to add this here, DaisyUI. So close this and close the terminal. Close the terminal. Yes. Now if you open, let me close the 33 app.gg. So what can we do? Let me open use or customize component. So we can just copy any button. Let me copy the button. Come over to, let's say, what was the file name? Index.tsx. I think the screen was too big now. It was too big. Now it's fine. So let me clear the entire things from here, like these things, and this link, the div as well, and just add the button here. Just make this as class name, not class. So if I now check, give it a refresh, we will have the button from the DaisyUI, like this button. So we can add different types of, we can say, button class names like btn primary after btm or btn. So we'll see this. So let me rename this to sign in. Or what we can do is create a folder here called components in the source folder. Okay, no, not search. We need a folder called components. Don't let it scare you. It is just a what can we say? It is just a next application. Yes, make a functional component and then just add a button that we want to add, like 1, 2, or 3, whatever. So this should be class name, and this thing that we are having, button primary, we'll receive it from props. So we can say button class. Then let me copy the button class, add it in here. So we have to first replace the quotes with backticks. 1 second. Yes. Also wrap it in a, what is it, curly brace, and then I use this as a variable using this, but we have to create a instance or prop. So make a folder here called instance, or maybe sorry, not instance, what I am typing, interface, sorry. Then let me make simple index.tsx file, only one file where we will have all the interfaces. So let's say we have an interface called button interface, or just say button. So in the button we are having button class, which is if you hover this, it is not giving us any type. So if I come over here, then import this button as common component using @component button, and we can just replace this button here. So we have to pass the thing here called button class, btn class, or yes, so we can just make it a string. So yes, this will be a string, so we have to add this in the interface, that this is the class of button class. It is a string because we're passing a string here. So we have to pass, let's say, btn primary, this class. Now we have to just add as a string. We have added it. Now let me use this prop or interface in here like this. Save this as well, and we will have this. We can also pass a text or say title. So title will be, let's say, sign up. So we have to pass title in here as well. So as props, I mean get it here. Then replace one with title so that it will become, or it becomes dynamic. Then we have to add title in here as well, which is a string also, like this. Save all these files, and if I come to the app, we will see a button called sign up, which is from Tailwind. Now if I check this Next.auth, we have installed it. We have to add the provider in the Next.auth file, which is in the auth. So come to API, we have Next.auth. Here we are having no things or nothing. So let me export this const and remove, one second, export default Next.auth auth option. So we have auth option says this. The thing is, what is this? Individual declaration in merge declaration, blah blah blah. Export const, export default. Why don't I just copy the entire code base and paste it? Yes, so okay. The thing is, previously we were importing auth options, but now we need GitHub provider in order to add it. Yes, I mean we have to change the inputs. Here we are having GitHub provider with client ID and client secret. So if I go to GitHub now, let me go to GitHub and just go to settings here. Where is the settings? Okay, where is it? Where do I find settings in here? Yes, it is here, settings. Go to developer settings on the left panel. Here you will have auth apps. Let me create a new auth app called, let's say, Drive 2.0. Let's add the homepage URL, which is this localhost 3000 and such. Add it. We can say this is a Drive clone. We need callback URL, so just paste the GitHub, this URL called localhost 3000. Click registered application. We will have client ID here. So we can just copy client ID, and if you see that we are having the GitHub ID in this process.env file here. So it is Discord basically, not GitHub. So let me first add the ID and replace this with GitHub client ID or GitHub ID. So we can do this. Then the second thing is GitHub secret. So just add this one here. Fine. So now if I just come in the GitHub auth section, we need to generate a new client secret. So click the button here called generate a new client secret. Let me give my password. Please don't see it. Confirm this. And we are having the secret here. So let me copy the secret and now paste this in the env file. Save this, and we need to, what is the issue here? Type string or undefined is not assignable to type of string. Come to interface, create an interface here called, let's say, GitHub Auth. So in this, let me add client ID and client secret. The both are strings. So client ID, next is client secret. This will be a string as well. Save them both. Now this type or the interface will be in the GitHub provider in angle brackets like this. So we have initialized GitHub provider. Now the next step in order to use it is to, if I come here in the where this file app.tsx, we are having component, page props and such these things. Okay, component is wrapped in the session provider. Fine. If I come all the way down, so we need to use session. Let me try to import these things in the file called pages in here. Use session, sign in and sign out from Next.js React. Okay, the next step is we need to destructure data and session from this use session. And so we have a button here. Yes. On click of the button, we can simply sign in or sign out. So let me try this. Let me just hook this button on this button component. The button will receive, let me close this. The button will receive one more prop called on click. And when the button is on clicked, the function that we are having here, sign in, will run. Save this. We need to add type here, which will be a function which return type of void. So we can just try this and see what happens. Now if I click sign up, we are seeing this page. Yes, sign in with GitHub. Click this. Let me authorize this Nishan 666 app from Dive 2.0. But I don't think we have subscribed. So what I can do is just do a console log of the data. One second, not data, session. We can just go to console in here. We are having an object with the username, image, and the name as well. So the image is, I think, from GitHub. This image that I am having. So we can use that. Okay, it expires on this timestamp that I cannot read properly. So what we can do, if session exists, let me do it here. I mean, if session is here, it means we cannot log in again. We can just log out. So let me not put this here. Let me use session here. So we can simply do if session exists. In this case, we will use a button for sign out, not sign in. So let me add a button here, another one here, and then close it or delete this. So this should be sign up, not sign in, sign out. And this will be sign up. So let me just do sign out in here, and this will be sign up. If session is true or if he is having some data, this will be shown, else this will be shown. Now we can remove the console log from here and click sign out. So immediately we will see sign up button here. Now click it again. We can click sign in with GitHub and we are now signed in. Let me also have the username. So if I bring back session in the console, so we are having an object here from the, what is this, next auth, where we have the image and the name. So let me remove, or just here, let me add welcome. Let me add the name. So the name will be, let's say, session dot user name. Yes. Now we'll see welcome Nishant Kumar here. But this is not looking as a drive. So we can just comment this out for now. And let me move the button at the top right here, that where I am having the cursor. Let me close Auth settings. So let me move that button at the top. What we can do, create, one second, what I'm thinking. Yes. So let me create, or we need to move the button that fine. But let me create a component first. Before that, let me create a folder called common. Let me move the button in the common folder so that we know that button is a folder that, or button is a component that can be used at different places. So we have done that. Now let me create a folder or a file in the components called, we can say, home.tsx. Make it a functional component. But will it clash with index? I guess not. Let's see. Save home. Let me import the home component in the pages. So import home from components home. I think it is clashing. So we can just make this as home component. Now import this from this and let me render it out in this div. Save and they will see home. Let me move session in here in the home component. So we need these things which are data and session from use session. So let me have them here, or let me create a hook for this, a common or a custom hook. Let me make a folder called hooks. In here we can say use session.tsx, not tx, not tsz, tsx. So what we need in here, we need this things called use session sign in and sign out. Add them. We need data and this session also add it, but we need to make a function. So export const use session. Okay, and we need another function. Sorry. So this is already defined from the next auth use session. So we can say what we can say. Use fetch session. Okay, let's change the name to this. In here, what do we need? We need these things. Okay, just save this and return this div, which is the button. So we need the button here. So we can say import button from this route in the use session. Now, or all of the errors are now gone away. So let me remove the entire div. In here, let me import use fetch session from use session in the hooks folder. Then return, or let me do this. We need the use session. So let me destructure. Let's say this, what can we call this? JSX. Okay, I guess let me just move them in here in the home and just have sign out and sign in function in here. Remove use session. So we also need the button. So just cut it from here and add the button in here. So we need the session from here. So let me return only the session like this. So this is returning the session as an object. So we have to destructure it. So we'll let session equals to use fetch session, and now everything will work out. So as I said that we have to make this at the very top right. So give it a class name called, let's say, auth btn, but we need to create a styling file. So why don't we install sass, npm isass. It's done. Now let me create a file here called, or one thing I have done wrong is make a folder first called home. Let me move the home.tsx in the home folder. We need to import updates. So do this, save and save here as well. So here we don't need this sessions. Let me make it clear, and this as well. We don't need them. So we have installed sass. Make a file here called index.tsx. And in the pages we are having home and home. So let's change that. Just rename this as index.tsx. Okay, this should be not tsx, this should be scss. Now home should be index.tsx because we don't need to add duplicate imports like this, like home/home. We can just have home, and home will render the index file. Now in the, let me import this css or SCSS file in the home. So import index.scss. Now we need to use auth button class name in the index.scss. So this should be okay. What is the problem? Global CSS cannot be imported in the files other than custom CSS. Okay, I think this, yes, I forgot to mention that this Next.js uses auth. Sorry, it uses CSS module. So if I come to index.tsx, sorry, app.tsx, we are having this thing called, okay, we don't have it here. In the global.css, we are having, okay, come to index. So let's say that we are having class names here. Okay, what we have to do, just come to this and let me make this as auth btn. Now copy this, come to the home page. So we will not use class names like this. We can do styles dot this auth btn. So we have to import styles. So where do I import it from? Let me check pages, app.tsx. Let me check any styles file like global.css. We are having these kind of things. So I am forgetting how does this work. Let me check on Google. So what we have to do is, let me just remove this index import. Rename the file to, let's say, home.module.scss. Now let me import the file here. So I will do import styles from this file. Now we will have no errors. Fine, because this is how we do styling in Next.js using modules. So in the auth btn, let me give a position of absolute top 20px, right 20px as well, so that it sticks on this position. So we will have sign on button, but we will not show it because we have to show the image of the user. So if I just do a console.log of session, we can have the image in here that I previously mentioned. So it is having user. So we can say .user.image. So it will give the link of the image. So we can use that. So let me turn this into an image tag. First comment it out and then make an image source, which will be equal to this session.user.image. So we can just add them. User does not is type of never. What is this thing here? So we will have the image. Okay, sign out. Okay, we have done it wrong. This should be not here. This should be in here. Sorry. Okay. Save. String null undefined is not assignable to string undefined. Okay. We need to create a type for this image. So, or we can just make as string here. It will go away. Simple. Now we have this big image, so let's shorten it up. Give it a class name here called styles.profileimg or image. Now we can use this profile img in here. Sorry, this only. Width, let's make 100 pixels. Done. Border radius 50% to make it rounded, like this. Let me also throw cursor as pointer. Fine. Now they should be not in a home page. We can just add them in a component for Topbar. So make a folder called Topbar. In here, make a file called index.tsx and one for the home module. I mean the styling module. So we can say topbar.module.scss. Now let me shift these things, this entire div in here. Or why don't I shift entire home function in here? Just change the name of home component to top bar. So we don't, okay, we need sign out. Let me just leave it. Now let me import this component in here, this top bar first. Let me remove the style of the class name, then import the what is it, the top bar. Import top bar from this component and simply then render it out here like this. Let me remove console log, the button, and just the button. So top bar is here and we have a problem here. Cannot resolve home.module.scss. So this should be top bar dot module.scss. In the top bar, we can just have these things. Paste. Let me refresh. Cannot resolve home.module.scss in the. Okay, let me check in the top bar here. Okay, so we have to save it as well. Save and it will be fine. So remove console log, and if I click the home, we should sign out. So in the image, we can say on click sign out. Okay, what is this issue? Let me just have an callback function, I think. Yes. So if I click it, we will be signed out. Okay, this should be a function, just not a stress. Click it. Now we are signed up or signed out. Click it again and we can sign in using GitHub. So basically you can use GitHub or let's say Facebook or Google, anything. Let me come to next auth. Here we will have, let's say, get started. We can have anything here. We like, if I come, one second. If I come to providers, we have all these things like Apple, Atlassian, Auth0, Battle.net and whatnot. So we can have Google here as well. We just need to have Google Client ID and secret from, I think, GCT, Google Client Developer Tools and whatever it is. So we have done this. Perfect. Let me close the things that we don't need, like interface, top bar module. We don't need for now. Also close this. So we do need the home, and this we don't need. So remove use fetch session. We have pages. In the pages, we are having the home component. In the home, we are having top bar for now. So what else we can do now here is create the body for adding files in the file store. Yeah, so let's create a component for this thing. What thing? Like uploading a file or a folder first. So in the pages, we have the home page called index, which is rendering the home component file. So in the components, let me make a folder called, we can say, upload files. Let me make an index.tsx file in here, a functional component. Let's make the name as upload files. But okay, let me also get it in the home component. So we can say import home from, one second, what I'm doing, this upload files, I mean, from upload files, then render it here. So I will see upload files here. Fine. Now we need to come to this file and just make a, folder first. Make a file for this styling. So upload dot module dot scss. So import this at the top, and first, okay, let me do styles from this one. Now just add a class name here, and we can say styles dot, what should we name this? Let's say upload main. In here, let me come and just do margin 0. Okay, this will not work. So I guess let me come to styles global. Okay, what else, or where else do we have stylings? So we need to reset all the styles. So we can just say body margin 0 Okay, this is coming in the center. We need in the, not at the center. We can have it like at the top. So what we can do for that is we have styles, then we have the, 1 second. Where else do we have styles? What if I remove these things? It will be like this. Okay. What if we remove Tailwind base? No. Tailwind utilities? Yes. Now it's fine. So we remove Tailwind utilities because this will just remove the class names for margin and pod padding. So remove this as well because we don't need that. So here we also didn't need margin, or maybe we need 20 pixels in order to spread it, like here. So what we can do is we have upload files. Let me add a button here. So okay, if I add a button, yes, let's add a button. So we can import button from common button, just render it in here. So this button will take a title. So let's say add a file, and one more, it was taking one more property. Let me hover to and see. It is the class name. So let me come to interface and make the button class as optional. Also the onClick event. Yes. So we have add a file. Also let me add the class name. So if I come to this, let me try btn primary again. Let's just make this as our custom button class. So we can say class name equals to this. Okay, what is the name? It is btn class. Fine. Save. And it is now in purple. We have add a file. One more we need for a folder. So we can say add a folder, or basically create a folder. We need these things. Let me add a margin among them. So we can say M2 here as well. No, it is not working. So I guess make P2. Padding. No, still not working. So we are having btn class that is just taking. Okay. In the btn primary, in the button, let me come to button. We have the button. Okay. What if I add, what is the key for margin here? So let me just check. Button we have here. We are having all the buttons. Fine. If I come down, info success and so on, we have responsive button, we have white button, we have these kind of things, but we need to check how to give margin among them. So let's search anywhere. What is the key for margin? In the layout and typography. So if I come down somewhere to find margin, if I search margin, will I get it? So this should be M2, like they should be M3 or M2, but it is not working. So let me make a file here for button. So this should be, first let me make a folder for button. Move this inside. Yes. And now make a file for SCSS. So button dot module dot SCSS. So in here, first let me import this. Import styles from this file. Now just have the styles, and basically we can first do styles dot some class name in here. So we can say common. Let me add margin as say 20 pixels. So we can use the common btn in here like this, but no, not this common btn. But the thing is, this is okay, number is not assignable type of string. Common b, okay, this should be like this in camel case. No, we can just remove this, add this, and if I cut this and paste it inside of this string like here, this should work. but it is not. So let me check here. Styles.upload min. Okay. If I remove the entire thing in here, add this, it is working. What if I add one more curly bracket and add it here? Yes, it is working. So it is working. So save it here, and yes, we have 20 margin. Add a file, create a folder. Let me just change the button for folder. So if I come here, we have all the buttons here. So let me choose this outline button for primary. So if I check this, we have btn outline for outlined button. So I can just pass it in here, and if I check, it is now outlined, but the color is not properly visible on black. So I guess what can we do? If I come down, sorry, success, let me try this one called success, btn success. So just add them, it is now here. Add a file, add a folder. So the thing is, this is looking good in here. So why don't I remove btn primary, add this here, remove this from here as well, to have this button which is looking very good. We have add a file and create a folder functions. So what should happen is, if I add a file, the file should be outside any folder, that should be visible in the home page. So in the Firestore database, we should have the file like directly uploaded with the link. So in order to upload a file, we need a function from Firestore. So if let me just initialize Firebase for now, because I have not done that. So if I just make a folder in source called Firebase config.tsx, and now come to settings in the app, project settings, come down, let me install Firebase. Let me just install this. Meanwhile, grab these things and paste it here. So we have to remove the comments. Yes. Let me wait it for let's wait for it to finish. Meanwhile, I can have a sip of water. H2O. Why it is taking so much time? Let me create two variables called storage equals to get storage. Let me delete this. First, let me import get storage. Okay, from Firebase/storage. And the thing we have to import is get storage, I guess. Now, let me close this one. Not collapse this, close this. So, get storage app. By the way, not export storage, export const storage. It is a variable that we have to export. We have to export this as well. App. Now the third thing we need is the database. So export const database equals to get Firestore. We need to import this as well. I don't know, automatic imports are not working. Firestore. No. If I just add it Firebase/storage, and the thing is, this should be not storage, sorry, Firebase/Firestore. No, yes, get Firestore should be here while we pass the credentials, these credentials. Now in the, let's say in the pages, let me import this app. Or do we need to import it? I don't think we need to import it. Let me now come to the server folder. In the server we have db.ts, also auth.ts. So I don't think we need these things because we are not using Prisma. So let me create a file here called firestore.tsx. Let me close the auth. Let me close button interface, upload module, home page auth. In here, let me import things from the Firebase config file, which is storage, app, and database. Import storage from Firebase config, also app, also what is the name of the database instance? It is database. So import these things. Now we need a function here called export const default. Just let me make the function as export default. What should we export const? Let's say Firestore. This will take request and response. Sorry, request comma response. So we need to add the type here. So if I check db.ts, we don't have anything in here. If I check auth.ts, we need to have like some authentication things here, like I mean the, what can we say, the request and response things. So it is not here, it is just for auth. Okay, in the server we are having, wait a second, server pages, okay, in the, sorry, I am doing it I think wrong. This file should not be here because it is for authentication only. Just come to API, just come to here. Still we don't have anything in here. So okay, auth, I mean API auth. Let me make a folder here called firestore.tsx. tsx. Let me add these things here. We need to have, just do request, let's say dot name. Thing is, we have to add type of the request. So what can we do in that case? What will be the type of request or response? We need to import two things here for the type of request and response, which is next API request comma next API response. So in the next API request, we have to add type for the request, and the response will be in the place of res. So the name does not exist, so we can just close it or remove it. We don't need to console this. We just need to export the function defaultly. So we can say export default. Okay, this does not work like this. So we can remove export keyword from here, and at the bottom we can say export default Firestore. So let me just do a res dot status of 200 and dot, we can say JSON, and we will return, let's say, text as hello world. So if I just do in the browser localhost 3000 /API/ this Firestore, not Firestore, I mean, what can we say? What is the API route here? Yes, it is Firestore. So we can say Firestore. We will see the text here called hello world. If I zoom this, you can see it as well. So this is how we can create APIs in Next.js. Let me come over to this component called upload files. Let me make a function here called upload file. Let me make a state here called file set file equals to use state. Use state, we can have a object because that's what we have, the format of the file. So if I click this button, we can have on click event and we can simply set the file. So it will return us a param. So we can simply set event.target, it will add it. Now this is inside the file. We have to destructure this. Let's say files, okay, one second, let files equals to this file. But if I just, let me just do a console of this first. 1 second, I am doing it wrong. This should not work like this, because what should happen is if I click the button, which should open a file choosing option. So we have to add that also. Let me add an input in here. Input, and it will be type of file. This is what we have here. Do we have file input types here? So if I search input, we will have text input. So if I search file input, we can have these things. Like we can use them as well. So what should happen is if I click add a file, we should see one of these. Like, so let me get the JSX for this and replace this. We have choose a file, but this should be, let's say, after the button in here. This will be only visible when the or some state is true. So what we can do is create a state here called is file visible set file visible equals to use state. Say this should be false. Now when we click the button, this function or this function called set file visible will turn to negation. So on click, we can just do set file visible to negate this file visible. Now we are doing this here. So we can just add this input as a condition. If this is true, only show the input, else show nothing. 1 second. What is wrong? Input type. 1 second. This should have a question mark here. Now it's fine. Click it, it is visible. Click it again, it is hidden. Now, or what we can do is this. Yes, so if I choose a file, 1 second, what happened? If I choose a file, we should run this function called upload file. So 1 second, when we do on change here, on change, in here, this will just set the file as event.target.files0. We can have event in here, save. Again, this is causing some issues, so we can say as string. No, I think not here. Outside. No, it will not work. What is the issue here? If I hover this, it is null. So I think we should not use string, we should use an object. No, still not fine. Possibly it is null. Okay. Set file. If I remove files from here, it is perfectly working. So I guess let me now. Okay, 1 second. I think what we can do is not have the set file in here, just have this upload file passing the event at the top in the upload file function. Now we can just restructure the files from here. So we can say let equals to event.target, and here we can have files, the destructured property. What we can do, this event we have to add type in here. We can have files variable, inside we can store event.target.files.zeroth index. Now let's check it up. Open the inspect element. If I just choose a file, let me choose any file in the folder called photos. Let's say this file. We're getting its data successfully. We have to send this data to Firebase storage. So to do that, what we can do is create a function. Basically, we will not create API for this because it is tough to send an image through a response that we can use in Firebase storage. So basically it's not tough, it is I think impossible. So make a file or a folder here called API. In this we can make a file called, let's say, file upload.tsx. Let me grab this function, or not a function, let me make a function called export const file upload, which will be an arrow function. So we need these things from Firebase. So let me import them at the top. So we need storage, app, and database. Basically, I think we don't need database for now. So let me just grab these things, add them here. Okay, we need to uncomment this stuff. So we need a file. So we will get the file from params. So let me make the file type as any here, because who will type this stuff? And also this should be console log of download URL. Fine. Now we have to call this file upload function here. So we can just do import file upload from this route, pass the files in here. So when we pass the files, basically it is, let's say, let me make this as file. We pass a single file while we choose it. Okay, let me close this. So yes, we will choose a file here, and it will come up in the console after it gets uploaded. So let me open the console, choose a file. Let me choose this file here. We are seeing the percentage of the files 60/100, and then we have the URL. So as soon as we have the URL, we can store that in the Fire store. So to do that, we need functions from Fire store. So we can make Fire store.jsx, sorry, tsx, not jsx. In here, let me export a function, export const. We can say add files, which will be an arrow function. So we can just do import, we can say Firebase. No, I think it is the database from the Firebase config. So we have this. Let me also import a few things called, or which are collection and add doc. These two things. So we have collection and add doc. So collection will be to create a collection for our database. So we can select, we can say files equals to collection, and we will just have the database and the collection name. So collection is basically a table for our data, which is the files table. So in the add files, we can have add doc, then we have to pass files and our data. So our data will be image link. So we can say image link as image link that we will get from params. So we can just restructure it from here. This will be a string. So make it a string. Let me wrap this in a try catch in order to avoid errors. So just let me cut this, add it here, and have a catch block in order to have, if we have issues, this will show up in the console error. Now we are going to add, we have to call the function in the function of file upload. So let me import it. And by the way, we don't need app and database in here, so remove them. So yes, we need import add files from API, pages slash, one second. Yes, I think this is the one. API, wait, it's not in the pages, so we have to change it. So at the rate /API /Firestore. So okay, this should be not a default import. Now when the file upload completes, we will call the function while passing this image link. So it will run and upload the image in the Firestore database. So let me give it a try. Add a file. Let me choose this. Let me upload any file. Let's say this file. Let me open the console for the percentage. It is opening, coming here. We have till 100. And now if I check Firestore, we should see the image link in here for the image that we just uploaded. See, we are getting it here. Now the next thing we need is to add a progress bar. So let me go to design again. Components, search for progress. We can also come to Daisy UI and search if do we have any progress themed component here. So where do I search it? Here, I guess. So progress. I think yes, we have it. So let me create a component for progress in the common folder. I don't think we have installed Ant Design, so I don't know why I opened it. So in the common, we can make a folder, I guess, that will be for progress. In the progress, let me make a file called index.tsx and one for the module if we need. So we can say progress.module.scss. Make a functional component in here. Make this as common progress. So we can, let me choose this green one, accent color. Let me copy any one of the, what is happening? I am not able to copy this. Let me copy the entire block, paste it. Basically, we will remove the others and we will have only one. The value is minimum, which is 0, and the maximum is 100. Let me just call common progress somewhere here in the upload files. So we have the button, and let me close this. So let me have it before or after this line of choose a file. So we can just have common progress in here. Yes, we are seeing this. But the thing is, the width is too big for this. So in this div, let me have a styles here first. So import styles from this file progress.module.scss. In the div, we can give it a class name of styles.progress main. Copy this. Let me come over here. Progress main, this should be width of, let's say 80% or something. Maybe 90. Yes, 90 is fine. Let me add a margin top of 20 px. I think that looks fine to me. So we need to hide the progress initially. So let me just create a state for the progress. Here. Const progress set progress equals to, use state, say 0, initial value. We have to pass set progress to a file upload function. So pass it. Let me come to file upload function, get this setter function, add the type as function. Now this function of set progress will be in here when we are calculating our progress. So do that. Now we have the progress. Now we need to hide this progress bar when it is 0. So if it is 0, show nothing, else show this. Let me pass progress for the value of the progress. So this progress will come up here as props, and we can simply assign progress as this. So it is initially like 0. So I think we don't need to hide it. We can just have it here and see, okay, it will be like this. So basically hide it also. Okay, fine. So we need to add a prop type from the interface. So we can say, let me come over here and say interface progress. So the progress prop is called just the progress. This will be a number. Now we can just copy the progress interface and add it in here like this. Now let me add a file. Let's say this one. So we are seeing the progress bar, which means file is getting uploaded. And once it reaches 100, we have to hide it. So to hide it, we can just do this. What do we need to hide it? If I check, so if it reaches 100, we have to hide. So we can say if progress is 0 or progress equals to 100, it will be hidden automatically. So we can try this again. This file, it is getting uploaded. This looks cool, by the way, very cool. It's uploaded and the progress has been hidden, and we can see the image in here. Fine. So the image is here, the files were uploading. Now we can show the files in the home page in here, I mean. So we can close progress, come to upload files. One second, no, not here. Come to home index. We have upload files, so we can show it in here. Like make a component here called, or first let me create it in the component. So let me make it as show files. One index we need and one for module CSS. So we can say show files dot module dot scss. So make this a functional component, show files. Import the module of CSS or SCSS. Import styles from this file. Now let me import this here. So we can say show files. You will see this in here. Now we need a function to get all the files. So we can make export const get files. So we have the files in here. We need function called on snapshot. Okay. So basically I should not have this here. Let me create a hook for this, a custom hook. So because the on snapshot function is not an API function, we can just call it in our client side. So we can say use, or let's say fetch. We can say files dot tsx here. So just like we have it here, we can make a function to export const fetch files, which will be an arrow function. In here we can have on snapshot from Firestore. We have to pass our reference. The reference is, let's say, the files. So we can just, let me close the files that we don't need, like file upload. No, we don't, we need that, we don't need use session. Okay, we have to add it here as this. We need collection. One sec, not here, sorry. In here we need the files getting passed in here. We also need collection from Firestore, so add it. This will take a second param, which is a response, and this database is not also here. So let me get it from Firebase config. Let me also make a state here. So const say file list set file list equals to use state. We can just have an array. Okay, we need a use effect hook in here also. So we cannot afford to run it every time we mount the component. We need to destroy this. So we can return on snapshot and these things. Also, let me add the dependency array. So we can call fetch files in the not file upload, in this file called show files. Import fetch files from this. So let me just let me close this as well. Let me return something called like this file list. So we can just have let file list equals to fetch files. Fine, this should be empty. So if I just console.log this fetch files, it will be empty because we are not setting it. The array is empty. So let me open the console. If I refresh, we are getting a query snapshot. Inside we have docs. So let me do response.docs. Then let me map through this. Item can return. Let me destructure the item.data and also have an id property which is the item.id. Now we'll see the data in here. Okay, so if I just move this outside, let's see what happens. It will still work. I don't know why it was not working before, but if it is working, it's fine. Set this in here, set file list. Okay, that is the issue. This is having an image link and the ID in the state here. So make an object. Let me add image link, which is an empty string, comma ID, also an empty string. Okay, save this. This should work, but it is not. Like, what is the issue here? ID string, this is not assignable to set state action and blah blah. Yeah, so what we can do is come to interface, make an interface here called, we can say array type. This we need to make, and in here just set it to empty. So let me now come to this use state, have a curly bracket and add the array type in here. This will fix this issue. So the file list that we're getting in here, in the div, let me make a function for mapping. So file list dot map, say file, but it is still having an issue. Array type does not have the map. This is difficult for me. So let me just proceed with this. So you can say p, or not a p, an image tag. First make a div and just have this, like, what is this? An image. Okay, we need an image tag, sorry. Let me have an image tag from in here, from Tailwind. Search for, let's say, image. We have avatar. No, we don't need avatar, we need picture. So if do we have image? I guess not. Let me check. No, we don't have it. So basically just add an image source and add file dot, what is the property? Image link. Now give this a class name of basically styles dot image link. Let me come to this show files module. So save this as well, and we can see the files, but we are not. Yes, we can see the files here. Perfect. Now we need height the same because we want to make them as a square. So make 200, and then object fit contain, not contain cover. Fine. So this will be in squares like this, images, or basically files. What about this issue? Property map does not exist in type of array type. So if I come to interface, add a map and make it a function, what will happen? Okay, this is working, but I guess we need to add a type in here as well. So basically this is an object, so make it as an object with the image link in here, I guess. So yes, perfect. So we have done this. Let me now come to, or give this div a class name of, we can say styles dot, we can say files grid. So in here we can say files grid, display of grid template columns, auto and auto, to show 3 in 1 row. So we can make this as 300, I guess. Let me also add a width here. No, not width. Here should we add width? Width should be 70%. What about this? So we can just add a gap file as well, 20 px between them. Okay, not 20, let's say 30. Let me increase the width to 80%. What about 90? No, this will not work. Basically, we need to arrange them in a center. So we can just have justify content center. Okay, we have to give the width as 100 then. Now they are in the center. Fine, perfect. If I add one more auto, it means 4 in Ado. So this is the image that we are having here. Images. But they should not be images. This should be like, we should not see a image here. We have to make a div. So make a div with the class name of files. I mean this, what is this, styles dot files. Let me comment this and let me style the files here. This should be height 300 and width 300 as well. Background color, let's say accent or whatever this color is. So if I just come to what font, no, this is the font. So we can have colors here, do we? Yes, we have BGI accent, so we can use this. So what is the code for this? If I check accent color, we have HSL, then this. Okay, we don't have the color code for this, so we can just add them in here as well. So just do template literal and BG accent. Let me wrap this entire thing in like we can say template literal. Make this as a, what is it? Make this as a string. Now let me have this and add it in here. Now it will be working. Let me exit what font. Okay, so we don't need background color here, so remove it. So okay, we are seeing this files with the BG accent. Okay, what if I add background color as let's say red? This will be visible. So we're not seeing anything because I think the color is not matching with this. So we can try BG green. This, let's see. No, not working. So I guess we need to add some colors from our own custom. We can say like we have accent color. We need to have the, what I can say, the background color of this. So accent color code Tailwind. Okay, we have this. Fine, perfect. Let me add a background color and add this color here. We are seeing this, but it is not like, it's very bad. So let me just have Excel or accent black. What is this? We just have accent or BG accent. Let me try this one. I think this is fine. Now we need one folder link or file link here. So whenever we click it, yes, so we need to make the cursor as pointer. So yes, whenever we click the file or this link or this, we can say the card, we should open the file in a new tab or download it. So let me make the border as rounded. So border 10 px, not border radius. So yes, we need a rounded, sorry, not rounded, we need a file, what I'm saying, we need a file icon. So do we have icons in here? No, I think we need to install some library. So make it, let's say add React icons in here. Simple. Save it. So we need icon for file. So search it in here. So we need, let's say we can add or use this one, AI file or AI fill file text. So come to show files, import the icon from React icons /AI, then render it out here in this div. Now let me check. We are seeing the icon, but it is very small. So make size as 840, maybe 70 or 80. Make it 80. It's now bigger. Now we have to center it. So in the styles.files, we can just do display of flex, justify content center, align items. Now they are in the center. It is in the center, correct? Yes. So when we click any file here, we should be opening a new tab with the link. So the link is simply this. Let me comment this file.image link. So make a function here, const open file. This will receive a, let's say, we can say a parameter called file link, which will be a string. I will use window.open and string, I mean this file link, and in a new tab. So we can say, what do we have to open it open it in a new tab, target. Okay, let me just first hook this up with the with this div. So on click open file, and we need to pass this as a callback with the file.image link. Save it, click it. Yes, so it is opening in the new tab already, so we don't need to worry about that. So it's working. We can also show the file name in here, but we don't have the file name in the Firestore. So let me add it. So we are saying, or we are sending the file to the file upload. So 1 second, where are we? Okay, where are we doing this? So we have files in here, file upload we are having here. Okay, add files, it is taking download URL. Where is add file? It is here. Let me add image name. So the image name we have to pass from somewhere. So we have the files or the file here. Let me just open it again, the file upload dot this. So we have file, so we can just also share file dot name for the file name. So we have to get the name here, or we can say image name as a string, then pass it here. Save the both files, and we can try again. Let me just delete the entire collection for now. Let me create a file, this one. It is getting uploaded, and once it is done, you will see the file in here. Now, as I said that I need to add the name of this. So that file was upload files, no, show files. Let me add a p tag and just do this. Let me just check the, we can just say file dot not image link, the other property, which was this image name. So this image name we have to destructure from file as well, like the type, like this. So we will see the name, which is image this .jpg. So we can align them properly first. So we are having the style of files. Okay, come over here. We can just make flex direction as column. Let me also add gap of 30 or 20 px. Mine, by the way, this should be after the image icon. Now it's perfect. If I open it, it will open up in a new window. I mean a new tab in Firebase. I mean in the Chrome browser. So we have the files here. Now what we have to do is create folders. This is a folder that we are having, this button. So we can have files inside a folder, and we can have folders inside a folder, like nesting folders. So that will be a little tricky. So where is the create folder button? We have upload files. Let me come to this. We have the button of, okay, this is common progress. Yes, this button is for create a folder. Let me make a function called upload folder, which will be an arrow function again. So upload folder will run when we click the button. So on click upload folder. So what do we need to create a folder in here? So we are having the image link and image name in here. We can have this type of payload. So let me make payload as folder name. So we need the name of the folder. So when we create this, we should see input element or an input element, just like we are having this. So if I come to this Daisy UI and search for inputs, text input, let me grab an input like accent input. Grab this JSX. Do we have input common file? No. Let me create it. So, or maybe just let me have it here. 1 second. We are having an issue. Let me comment this for now. Comment this. Save this. Now add this here. So we are having this name, create folder. So we can type a folder name in here. Maybe I need to make the width as say LG. I think the width is full. So again, we need to show the input when we click create a folder, and we need to hide it when we click it again. So we can have const is folder visible set folder visible. Use state empty, let's say not empty, basically a false value. Now this false will change when we click the button. So we have upload folder. The thing is, we can't have this here. First, let me just do a arrow function, callback function, and set it to negation. If it is true, it will be false. If it is false, it will be true. Now we need to just do, if it is true, show the input, else show nothing. Now click create a folder, it will be showing up here, and so on. Now we need a state for the input value. So we can say folder name set folder name equals to use state empty. So copy set folder name. Let me come to this input and have an on change event. This will take the event as parameter, event param, and then we can set event.target.value in here. Done. Now this folder name will come up in the payload of this upload folder, and this will, when should we run the folder? Maybe also create a button here to upload it or to create it. So let me wrap this in a fragment. Let me have one more button like this. Let me remove this, or just remove this, yes, and have this upload folder function in here, and just have create. Make this as add a folder first. We have add a file and add a folder. This function or the button will create it with the payload. So we need the folder name. We have done this. We need is folder, which means is it a folder or a file? So this should be true because it is a folder. We need the file list inside it. So we can say an empty array for now. Now we can add a function in the Firestore, just like we have add files. Let me replicate this. Make this as add folder. Let me grab this function in here. We have, let me import add folder, and we can call this function in here, add folder, with passing the payload in here. So let me pass or get the payload, which will be having these things called. This is having the folder name, which is a string. Then we have is folder, a boolean value. Then we have this one called file list, which is an array. Safe, but we need an object type here, not an array. Fine. So we need the folder name as folder name, is folder as is folder, file list as file list. But the problem is we need to have payload dot folder name, payload dot is folder, and payload dot file list. Fine. So this is done. we will simply call the function and do these things in the try block. So one more thing I want to do is they should be having one more, we can say prop, which is folder. This will be false because it is not a folder, it is a file. FALSE, false. So let me create a folder. Name this as, what should we name it? Folder 1. Click create. So we will have this folder here. So if I check, we have the image and then we have the folder. File list is an empty array. Folder name is the folder 1. So now we have to come here, not here in the show files. We need to just make a difference between these things. So by the way, 1 second. Okay, this is a AI filled file text. So if the file dot, what is the name, is folder, if it is true, it means it is a folder. So in that case, we need to show a folder icon. So let me open React icons, search for a folder icon here. So we are having an AI fill file text. Similarly, we can have AI fill folder. Now we have to just render it out. Let me give a colon. Okay, this should be also in here, which is the boolean value. So how do I type boolean? Let's say false. This folder should have the size of, let's say 80 or also. And we also need to do the same thing in here. So basically cut the file name, add it here with a fragment, and just add the same name here with a fragment. But the name of the folder here will be like folder name, not file name. So this should be that in there, the folder name. Save this. Okay, we have to also add it in here. Also empty string. Now we'll see folder 1, and this one has the image. So we have a one folder and one image we have. Now let me just decrease size of the files. It is too big for us. Make it 200. This looks perfect. And by the way, we no need to align them in the center. Just leave this again, not here. Okay, this should be not center. This will then cause issues. So we need them on the left side. So why don't we make auto, one more auto, one more auto, one more auto. Fine. So this is the issue. Okay, 1 second. This should be 200 as I made it before. 200. Fine. So we need this on the left. So we can say align justify content, flex start. This will not have any margin on the left. So if I say margin 30 px, okay, this looks better now. Then make gap as 10. Okay, not working. So margin, what about padding? That will come up in this file. So say padding 20 px. No, maybe just add them here. Yes, this looks better now. And don't make it 20, make it 30. Now it's fine. What about this one? Like we can't use it like this. It is horrendous. So we can say repeat, say 6, auto. What about if I make it 2? I think that works like this. Or maybe we can add auto and then 4. No, this is properly. Yes, I think that's working. Let me make one more folder here called folder 2. Click create. Okay, this will be here. So make it 7 so that we can have 7, or let's not make 7, make it 6. 6 item in one row. So make folder 3 now. Then make 4. Okay, we don't have the space for the 6th folder. So make it 5. Let's see what happens. This will overload the page. So basically make it 5 in one row. Now it's perfect. If we are doing this, so we can remove padding and make align items as center. No, maybe make it supply content center. Yes, now it works perfectly. Fine. So we have this kind of stuff. Okay, we have gap. Okay. Make a margin top of 30px. Maybe not 30, 60. Yes, that looks fine. We have folder 1 to 5. Also, we need to clear the input when we create a folder. So we need to add a value prop. This should be equal to folder name. Add it. Now we need to clear the set folder name when we add a folder. So we can just do as an empty string. Let me add a 6th folder. Folder 6, create. It will be here. Like, so this is done. Yes. We have all the folders and file. Let me create a file here. One more thing that I want to do is when we choose a file, we need to clear this as well, like this input. So I mean, not clear it, hide it. So in the upload files, when we do this, like what is it? Set folder visible to this. So make this as an function like this, with where we can have multiple things. So set file visible will be false when we click this, and when we click the file button, this is here, this will turn the folder visible to false. So this is the folder visible false. In here we have file visible to false. Now let me give it a refresh. Click add a file. Now click add a folder. This will hide. Click add a file, folder input will hide. So let me choose a file here. Let's say, let me choose some file in downloads folder. Let's say my image like this. We are seeing the bar of progress, and once it finishes, we will see the image in here. We can also show the image here. So like not have the icon of the image, just show the image only. So if it is a file, we can just have the image tag in here, but we have to add the styles of image link. We can set width 100px, that's perfect. Height 100px as well. Object fit cover. Now this is a file, so we can just have border radius 10 pixels. Perfect. We have the images in here now. If it is an image. Now we have the facility to upload files and folders. Now let's target how to add nesting folders. So if I add a folder, let's say folder 1, let's say that we added it like a folder 1, we can go in the folder and create one more folder. Then we can go into that folder that we just created and create another folder inside that, and the same is true with files. So first of all, let me change a few things here. For example, let me make a folder here called folder 1. Click create. It is here, but if I click it, it will take us to the new page here that we are targeting in here. Wait a second, it is in the show files in here. So if I click it, it will just open the file link in the new window, even if we have no file links, because in case we have a folder, we have to change it. So what we have to do, we are having this div here, we have to just move it inside the file is folder. Like do this here. Let me remove this fragment. Save. 1 second, I think something is wrong. Okay, we need to remove this one as well. So do this. The same thing like we can do in here. Replace the fragment with this div. Fine. So this one is we are having for the folder. So we will not do this. So we can just comment it out for now. We'll only open the link in the new tab if it is the image, not a folder. So for a folder, what we have to do, let me create a page here. That will be known as pages. Sorry, not pages, folders. We will make a dynamic routing in Next.js. So if I make this as folder .tsx, make it a functional component. Name should be folder here. Fine. Let me now return this in the show file. So import show. Okay, we don't need to return. Sorry, it's not a component. It's a page. So we have to go to this route. So if I go to this route called /folder, we will see folder text here coming from this. That is the great thing about Next.js. It means, or I mean that we have the option to just create pages and it will serve as a route. We don't need to create routes here. So yes, so as I said, when we click the folder, let's say this folder here, we should be on that page. So we need something called use. Okay, it is use router. Yes, correct. From next router. Let me create its instance. So const router equals to next, or not next, use router. See, it's a bit similar to what we have in React. So when we click this, we should just go to this file, not file, yes, a file that is called folder. So make folder here, but the thing is we need router.push, I think. Yes. Now if I click the folder, we will be on this folder page. But the thing is, we need to pass a few extra things as well. That is called the ID of this folder. So let's say what I am trying to say here is, if I click the folder, we should be on this page with the ID of the parent folder. So if I am creating a folder in here, that means we can only show those folder with the ID of the parent folder. So I will explain it later. It will make much more sense. So how to pass the ID here? So we can just change this to template literals and just give a question mark, say ID equals to the actual ID that we have to pass. So the ID will be file.id. Oh, is it file? Yes, file.id. So we have to also like add this in the prop type or in the, what is it, map. Okay, one more thing let me do is, if I open the console, we are seeing that ugly message here. Let me show you this key thing. So in this parent div, make key equals to file.id. Save it. So if I refresh, that error will go away. Now if I click the folder one, we are having the ID here. Let me come to folder and extract this ID. So we can import the same thing that we had, which is the router. Where is it? Use router, sorry. Use router. Then let me just destructure, or yes, get the router equals to use router. If I do a console.log of router, let's see what we see in the console. So we are having this object which is having a thing called query. So this should be somewhere here, this one, query. So let me just get the query, and in the query we will have the ID. So also get it, this ID. Fine. Let me store this as a parent ID equals to, now we have the parent ID. Now let me change a few things in the upload files. For example, we have upload folder. Here we can add a parent ID, which will be, so this parent ID we will get from props. So let me get it. So if we are on the home page, let me just add it first and comment it out. So if we are on this upload files, let me show you. If I just console the parent ID, and then if I just come to folder, let me call the upload files component here, because we need that in here as well. So import upload files from component upload files, and then render it here, return it here. So we have to pass the parent ID. So let me do that. parent ID will be equal to parent ID. Okay, so if I go to the back page, the home page, make a refresh. So initially on the localhost 1000, the parent page, the basic home page, it is undefined. But if I open the folder, we are seeing the ID of the parent that is coming from the query params from this top. So we can use this to simply send the folder to Firestore. So how can we do that? So we are calling the upload parent, and if I upload a folder, this should send the parent ID with the payload. So if I open upload folder function, no, add folder function, let me check it out. It is here. So it is, we need the, like, we don't need file upload for now. We need, where is it, to have the parent ID as a string, and then just add string as payload dot parent ID. Okay, so we can try this. Let me go back. Let me delete this folder from Firestore. We are on this page. Let's see, we are on, where are we calling folder? So it is just a page. Fine. We have index, so they are not related. We are only having folder as a page, nothing else. Correct? Because that can cause some issues. We have add folder. Okay, let me trigger this. Okay, yes, we only have one folder component, not a component, a page. So let me delete this one, this folder. Now let me add one folder on the home page. Let's say, let me just do this, collapse that folder 1. Let me click create. So we'll see that we are having this issue. Firebase function add doc call with invalid data. So we have to fix that. Come to Firestore, or not Firestore, come to where? Upload files. So we only send this parent ID when this is here. So we can just do a pipe or 2 pipes and make an empty string. So if this is, if it is undefined, we will send this empty string. Let's try it again. Let's say folder 1. Now click create. This is here reflecting in the database as well. The parent ID is empty string. Now if I go into that folder and create another folder, let's say nested folder 1, we are seeing the ID of the parent, which is our something. See, this is the ID, and the same thing we're seeing here. So click create. It is here, but we cannot see it because we need to like properly navigate. I mean, not navigate. We need to get it. So we need to just come to show files. We are having, okay, not show files. 1 second. Is this the current or the proper component? Wait a second. We are having hooks, fetch files. Yes, I think here we have to do the things. So if I just do a console log of here, give it a refresh, it is undefined here. Okay, is it? No, something is wrong. So on snapshot, okay, let me do one thing. Let me create a function here called get folders. Now let me just cut the function from here, remove return statement, add the get folders here, and yes, one more thing, we are having the fetch files. Let me search, where are we calling this? I mean returning this. So it is in here, fetch files. So the show files should also take this parent ID, which is basically file dot. Okay, let me just search this fetch files. Oops, 1 second. No, not here. Okay, fetch files. This is here. We need to just have the ID. I mean, what is it? Item.id. If it changes, we will call get folder. So file list, let me check. Yes, that will work. File list we are returning here. Fine. Fetch, okay, show files. Yes, this is the thing we need. So if you come here, let me this is missing the parent ID, which is the home component. So initially, the upload files will have parent ID as empty string, and this one also will be an empty string. Let me now add show files. Add parent ID in show files. Destructure it. Pass it along this file list. And if I do a console log of parent ID in the show file, let me refresh the page. Yeah, so I need to also call the fetch data, fetch component, which is the, let me see, show files. So if I search show files, we are calling here with the upload files. So let me close the things first. Let me start from the beginning, like what I have to do here. So we have the folder component, basically not a component, a page, where we have Topbar, upload files, and show files. So we are calling show files with an empty property. But here the parent ID will be equal to this parent ID. Now it will work. Like we also have to import show files. So import show files from component show files. We have done this. Now let me open show files here. Show files, this one. We are getting the parent ID from here, passing it further to fetch files. Where is the fetch file? Hook. We are getting it here. So if I click folder 1, we are seeing the ID of the current parent, which is R, H, and so on. If I go back, this will be empty. If I click nested folder 1, we will see the ID of this parent. Like the nested folder 1 should be inside the folder 1. So if I check the ID of folder 1, which is like R, L, H, and something, it is the ID. Okay, it's not the ID of this. So one sec. If I am in folder 1, this is ID of, yes, it is the ID of this. If I am in nested folder 1, we are having an I something, yes. So this is the ID of the nested folder 1. So let me do this. One sec. I think it is wrong, I guess. We are having parent ID. One sec. I think I am passing the wrong thing. So if I come to this upload files, no. Okay, where is the base of this? If I am clicking this show files, we are just, okay, this should be not ID. Should this be ID? I think yes. Okay, let's see how it goes. What we need now is, we are having the show file. It is a little bit confusing, but fine. Open this fetch files hook. So when it changes the parent ID, we will call get folders. Now all we need to do is just filter out our data from or using parent ID. So make it a string. It is a string, that's why. So first, let me console. So first of all, what we will do is, if parent ID is null, we will simply show all the, like, we will show this thing. The thing is, we will not like directly show it. We will have to filter as well. So we can say filter. So show all the array items if item.parent ID is empty string. So in this case, in the home page, we will see only folder 1, because that is the thing only where the parent ID is nothing or empty string. If I open this, we will see nothing because now it is not empty. So here we can make an else block, and in here we can simply just copy this and add it here, and here we can say if the parent ID or item.parent ID is equal to parent ID. Now in here we will see nested folder 1. If I open this, it will be nothing. So now let me explain this, what is happening properly. So we are having folder 1 at the top level with the ID of empty string in the parent ID field. If I click folder 1, if I click folder 1 again, we are seeing nested folder 1 with the ID of this one. So the ID is of this parent ID, like this is the ID of the parent. That is why we are seeing this one here. If I open it, we will see nothing because we don't have any folder with the ID of this nh and so on, which is in the, here in the path param. So let me remove this console log from here. Fine. Let me just add as, one second, as, or just make this as any. Same thing we can do in here so that the warnings go away. So refresh the page. If I come, so this is not having any files. So if I come back, we will see nested folder 1. Let me create one more folder here called nested folder. Okay, sorry, folder 2. Click create. It is here. So let me make one more folder in the nested folder 1 that will be called sub nested, sorry, folder 1. Let me click create. So it is here. If I go back, come back into nested folder 1, we can see that here, but it will be not visible in the nested folder 2. Now let's work on the files here. Or do we need to add any types in here? No, we don't. So let's work on the files. So if I open API Firestore, we are having add folder. We are also having add file. So this will also have a parent ID, which is a string. Let me just pass it through in here like this. Now let me see where are we calling add files. So this is here first. So we have to get the parent ID in here. So parent ID will be equal to, let's say, a string. The type of the thing will be string. Now we need to see where are we calling file upload so that we can pass the parent ID here. So we can just do this. Let me also add the type of this as a string, but if I do as string, will it work? No, this does not work. So we have to create an interface. Come to interface. In the index, we can say interface folder structure, parent ID string. Let me just grab this, come over here and just announce this in here. Now it is getting the parent ID. Fine. Let me receive it here that we are doing. So we have to pass it here, like in the add files. So add files functions, where is it? Add file function, we are having this in the Firestore here. So yes, we are now getting the string as parent ID. So we can try to create this, but I think we need to also check the add files function. Where are we calling it? The file upload function. So let me check. We are calling it here with the parent ID. We are passing it here. Fine. So I think this will work. So let's give it a try. Let me go to home page. Let me upload a file here. Let's say this file 45. So it is here in the home page, but the thing is we are having the folder icon on the top, so we have to hide this. So I think that is an issue. Not an issue, a very minor issue. Here also we are having this issue is that says in upload files. Let me check. In the folder upload files, what is this issue? String is undefined, is not assignable to type of string. So basically it can be undefined. So what we got to do is come to interface, here is it, and just add, this can be either a string or undefined value. One sec. String as an array and empty. Okay, this one, add this as well. Once again, it is here. Yes, correct. Now it's the error is not here. So close this. So where were we? We are having the, okay, I think we are having new issues. This is a payload. This is the issue that I want to fix. Like if I open interface, let me remove these things. Now, okay, let's leave it at that. Fine, no problem. So yes, we have to remove this folder icon. So in show files, we are having this folder icon in both of them, so it is not needed. So we can remove this. And by the way, this parent ID we are having, we also need to add the interface name, which was folder structure. Save it. Now let me, okay, I think this, we have removed the folder icon from the wrong place. This should be here. Correct. We have the file in the folder. So click file, it will open up in a new window or a new tab. Now let me open the folder one. So we will not see any file. So let me add a file on this level. So we can just have, let me just add any file like this file. You will see this progress, and soon as we upload or it is uploaded, the file will be here. Click it, it will open up in a new tab. Now click restrict folder 1. We have no files. Choose a file in here, any file, let's say this file. Wait for some time and it will be uploaded. It is here, say this image. So it is in the nested folder 1. It is not in the nested folder 2. So open it, we will see nothing. No folder or no files. Fine. That is how we handle nesting. One more thing, we are having the top bar here, which should be in the pages folder as well, just like we have it in the home component. So where is the home component? Yes, so just let me have top bar in here in folder at the top. Let me import top bar. So if I now go to any nested folder, the top bar will be visible. Perfect. Now what is this issue I am not getting, like this one? Type string is not assignable to type of string. Upload files. Let me open that. Upload files. What is it? Component. Upload files component. This is a string. So if I make this as a string, the error will go away, because now we are declaring that this is a string. Yes, that is how we can fix it. Fine. Now one more thing I want to do is, so we are having all the folder and files in here. Let me log out. It will still see these things, so we have to hide them. We cannot show the files and folders if we are logged out. So if I come to say index, we are having home component. Let me open the home component. So it's, if the home component is there, okay, one sec. We have this use session hook. Let me search it. We are calling this in the top bar. Let me also call this in the folder here. Import this use session from this route. So import it. Then what we have to do, check for session. If it exists, show the image, else show nothing. So we can just do if session is true, return this, save. So okay, one sec. Top bar should be there as well. Like, let me just revert this back. We only need to hide the top bar. We only need to hide these things. Upload files and show files. So if session is true, it means we are logged in. Show this, else show nothing. Okay, one issue here. We need to wrap this in a fragment. This should be here. Okay, one second again. What is the issue? Save it. Okay, let me just cut these things. One second. What I am doing wrong here? So if session is true, let me cut this. Okay, show this. I think I added the fragment. This should be in here. If it is true, so show all this stuff, else show nothing. Like we can now sign up with GitHub account, and now we can see all the files and folders. So this is done. Like this is how we do it. But what if we sign up with a different account? So in that case, we have to filter our data. So let me just console the session here. So session is like this object with the user nested object in here. So we are having the email as well. So let me grab the email. So we need the email somewhere, like if I come to, or let me just use this hook in here. Or what we can do is, let me go to where are we getting all the data in the show files here. Let me just have the hook in here. Let session from use session. Let me import them. So to import them, how to import them? Just do this. So we are already having this fetch files here. Okay, we are having this. So let me remove console log from in here. Then our console log will be in here, the new console log. If I refresh, we will see Nishant as 440@gmail.com. In this show files page or component, line number 11, yes. But this is not all. We also need to send the email when we create a file or a folder so that we know who is that owner. So we can just go to upload files. Here we can have one property called user email. So the user email will be equal to session.email. So let me also have them here at the top level. Let me import the fetch session from the hooks. So this should be in here. So let me remove the console log, and whenever we add some property, whenever we add some data, we can have this. So it can be null, so just add a question mark after or before this. So next thing is add a question mark in here as well. Now let me delete the entire collection here so that we start from the beginning. So delete this. Are we recording? Yes, we are recording. So delete this. We will have absolutely no files or folders. So let me go to the home page. We are having the email on line number 11 in the show files here. So let me create a folder here called folder 1. Click create. It is here. If I check the Firestore database, we should have the email in here as well, the new created email from the auth. Okay, it is not here. I think the thing is we need to do some extra things with the payload. So in the add folder, we are having this email. So let me add this user email. Now add the user email as payload.user email. But I think it is like redundant. What we can just do is just pass the payload. No, like this. Yes. Then we don't need these things. Remove them. It will be just an object. So the entire payload will now go. Whatever we pass in here, it will go in the database. No need to just add this separately. Now let me create one folder here called folder 1. Click create. It is here. See, and now it is having the user email. Now let's filter it out. So we are having the session.user.email. We can just come to this file list.map. Here file list.map, it is redundant this, so we can just, okay, one second. Okay, why don't we just use the session in the fetch function? We are fetching the data of the pages or files. So in the hooks we have fetch files. Let me get it in here. Get the use session from this route. Now we have to just remove this. okay, it is a, so it is an email that is inside the table. So we can use query. We can import query, comma, where, and let me create a param for query. So we can have let query equals to, or not query, the name will like clash. So we can say email query. What this will do is simply fetch all the posts, or not posts, all the folder and files with the name of, or the email of this. So query, let it pass the instance which is files, comma, we can have where, like where is the conditional operator here, where user email, comma, double equals, if it is equal to this session dot user dot email. This is done. So if this is here, we can just pass it in both of the snapshots, not passing the file, passing this. Now if I see, let me remove the console log. Okay, so let me not do this. Let me have this, like the session that we are having, let me have this in the this file, like show files. So add this here, but add it before the file list here. Now let me pass the session in the use and fetch files. Let me also import the use session or use fetch session from the parent, like from here. Now we are passing session. So let me not pass the session entirely. Let me pass only this thing, the user email from session. So let me copy this here and paste it. This will be as a string, save. Okay, we also have to get the user email in here. So we have to just do comma user email, which will be a string. Now let me not have them here, remove this one, save it. This will be replaced with the user email now. Save it. Now we will still see the error here because this is sometimes not defined on initial load. So we have to put it in the dependency array here. Save, give it a refresh. Still it is not here. So what we have to do, just we have to check if parent ID is false or not, or and, because we need to have both of them as true. If user email is true, only then show data in here. So refresh, still it is having some issues. So user email we are having in here. Let me just move them in here. Now let's see what happens. Email query. 1 second. I think this is wrong. User email should be equal to user email, fine. I think what we have to just move it outside in a, like, just have it at the top level of the function. Like if, what we can say is, if user email exists, only then run this entire function. So just add them inside here. Now we will see no issues. We are having folder 1. Let me do something. Change this user email to something else called Nishant as 550. Now we will not see the file or folder here because it has not been created using this user email. Like it has been, sorry, it is created using this user email, but it is not the same in here. That is why it is not getting matched. So let me add one more folder here called folder 2. Let me close console. Are we having any console logs? No. Fine, perfect. Let me click create. We have this folder 2 as well. Now open folder 2. This will be empty. Open folder 1. We are having nothing here because it is containing no files or folders. So we can just add it. Let me choose a file. Let's say this image. It will take some time because we are having this progress bar. Perfect. The image will be here soon, but it is not. 1 second. Let me check this image. Okay, yes. The thing is, we also need to add the image, the file email link. So we have to just do in this file called Firestore, we are having this add doc, we are having basically this is all the files. So we can have user email as user email. Let me destructure this. Get this from props, not props, parameters, which is a string. So where do we need to pass this user email? Let me check. Where are we calling add files? It is in the, so we need the user email, correct, which will be a string. Give it a comma in here. Pass the user email in the add file so that it comes up here and it sets up in the database. Now we need to show where are we calling file upload function. It is here. So to get the user email, we can simply do this, like session.user.email, session.user.email. One issue is we can have a string here. Fine. So let me delete this file that we just created. Let me create one more file. Add a file, choose a file. Let me choose this file. Let it upload for once. Once it's done, this will show up here with the new email. It is in here with the new email. So let me check the file. This one. It is having the current user email. Let me add a folder in here called folder. Okay, what is the folder name of the parent? It is folder 1. Let me add, let's say, nested folder 2, or not 2, it is 1. Create it. So it will be here. Now we can add any files inside this folder. Let's say choose any file. Let me choose any file like this. It is here instantly. Upload it. So if I go back, come to nested folder 1, this file will be here. Let's create a share files or folders feature with other users that we have on Drive. So to do that, let me add Google Authentication first using Next.js. So if I come to the code here, we need to add our client secret from Google and ID as well in the env file. So let me show you how to get them. Open Google Auth in the Next.js. Click developer console. This is the link of that. Click it. So here we can create a new credential. Select OAuth client ID. Check the application type as web application. Name it. So let me make it as Drive 2.0 or your name. Then we have to add our client URI. We have to add JavaScript origin, which is localhost 3000 in here. So add it. We have to add redirect URL. So if you check in here, if we are in production, we have to add the link with the domain name. Else we have to add our localhost 3000 URL in here. So I am on local, so let me add this. Then simply click create here. It will take create it. So I have already done this previously. So if I open this, you will have a client ID in here and a client secret that we can feed in the env file. So I have done that already. Now we can close this. Come to Google Auth. So just like we had GitHub provider, we have for Google. So if I copy the command here, add it in here, the provider name which is called Google. Then we need to add the provider of Google in the array of provider, which is taking the client ID and secret and from env file, this file that I just added. So this is the GitHub auth type or interface. Let me change this to simple auth interface. Let me copy this, just add it here and add it in here as well. Save it. So we have no errors. If I come to the Drive 2.0, click sign up, we have Google option to sign up or sign in. So sign in with Google account. So I have done this for multiple users because on GitHub, I only have one account, but on Google, I have 2 accounts. So we can simply check as we share files between 2 users. So let me log in with Nishant as 440@gmail.com, this email. So we're getting all these data because the email is same. Now let's add the function for sharing the files and folders. So what we need to do, add the dot using React icons. That it is very simple, I guess, for you also. So add it, and when we click it, we will open up a modal in here, which has the input type, input field, 2 buttons, share and close. On the button of share, we are running this function called get shared email. So if I open the console, if I add the email, say Nishant as 440@gmail.com, click share, the email will be here. Now we need one more state here called current file ID, set current ID as use state and empty string. Now what should happen is, if I click the 3 dots in here, that is here, we need to set the ID of the current post in that state. So we can just wrap this in a curly brace. After the window modal opening, we can say set current ID as file.id. So the same thing we can do. So this 3 dots we're having in the folder and the file as well. So we can add it in here as well. We have added in the file. This is a folder. Yes, this is a file now. Save. Let me add it here. So if you don't know, one more thing I have done this is, when we click the folder icon, only then we will open the folder, not on the card, because we have to propagate this as well, the 3 dots function icon or the operation of that. So we have the ID now. So we can just console this current field, current file ID. So folder 2 will have, let me add the email. Okay, one more thing that I can do is, in the email property, in the input property, let me make this as an email, save, add the email, or also let me add the value in here, that will be email, save. Now if I click, also ID will be needed, email. If I click the email, share it, the email and the ID is here. Perfect. Now what we have to do is come to the get shared emails and run a function to update the emails in the Firestore. So we are having this. Let me just delete this fields or start from the beginning. So let me delete the files. Now create one file here. Before that, let me show you one thing. So in the Firestore, we have add folder and add a file. In here, in the add files, we need to initialize the document with a new array that will be called as shared2. That will be an empty array initially. The same thing we can do in here as well. So add it, save. Now if I add a file, this new type of field will affect, it will be here in the Firestore database. So wait for it. It is here. Let's check now. What do we have? We have files. We have the shared2 array, which is initially empty. If I click this share button, we should run a function to update data in the Firestore, precisely shared2. So we will have to add our email inside this. So let me make a function called export const share file or folder. So let me just name this as share files. It will work for both of them. This will take an email, comma. So email will be a string, comma. What else it will take? The ID, the current ID of the file. That is current field. Also a string. So let me select a document first. So let shared file doc equals to doc. In here we can just add the collection name, which is called files. We need to select the collection using the ID, which is the current field ID, because for only that post we have to update. But the thing is, if I add a email in here, so let me use update doc function. So update doc, this will take this shared doc as the first value, first prop. Second will be this email, but the email will be inside the shared too. So let me copy this field, add it in here, and just add the email. Save. Remember that this is an array, but we are passing in what is it? A string. So if I just do this, let me give it a refresh. Okay, we have to hook the function in here as well. So import share files from API Firestore. Let me run this function in here. We need to pass email and the current field ID. Let me wrap it in a try catch block. Copy this, add it in inside. Okay, we need the catch block as well. ERR, CLG ERR. Perfect. Now any errors will be caught. So let me share this one. Let me add the email of my other account. This one. Click share. Now come over here, and the email is now inside this one, shared to property. But the thing is, we can have multiple emails inside it. That's why I chose an array. So let me get that array in here using getDoc. So we can have getDoc function. And by the way, let me make the function as asynchronous because it is an API call. So await getDoc, await update doc. So getDoc will take the shared doc or shared file doc to get data. Let me have a response in here. Response equals to await getDoc. Make a console log here. Save. If I just comment this now, come to the Firestore. Come to the app Drive 2.0. Click share. We are getting the data. We need to filter it from here. So we can say response.data. Save it. Click it again. Share. We need the shared to. So just get it here. The thing is, it can be undefined. So make a question mark. It will be fine. So we can do this again the last time. And the email is now here. So if you remember, or I think you do, we have made this as an empty array. So we need this data, destructure it, and add our current email, which is this. Let me remove console log. Save. So refresh the page. So we are having this shared email as this. So let me delete this field. Share it again. So let me add the email here, Nishant as 500@gmail.com. Click share. Okay. Value is not iteratable. Okay, the thing is, what is the problem here is it was a string. So we can make the field here as an array. So add field. This will be an array. Click add now. We have this. Now if I just do it again, it will work. Share. Check here. Okay, it is here. Let me delete this one because we don't need an empty property. So we have this email. Now let me type, or let me share this to another user called uday123@gmail.com. Click share. This will be in here after the first email. So we are having shared emails list. Now we have to get them for our user as well. So come to fetch files. We need to make a few changes in here. So first of all, we need to just have a check here. So if item.parent id is empty when we don't have parent id, in that case we need to check if item.shared emails dot includes our user email that we're getting from the params. It is, if it is here, show it. Else, okay, we also don't need this email query because we need not to check it. We need to just have files in here directly, not have the collection type of files or collection name of files, and then do same thing in here with includes. So change, okay, let me just have this here. So change it here as well in files. Now the second thing we need is, if I come to this and if I make this in an curly bracket, then add or operator, we need to check if item dot user email is equal to user email, in case the email that we are having is our own. That is why we had the query for the user email at the very beginning that we removed using this query and where. Now same thing we can do in here for this one, if the parent ID exists for nested folders. So save them, it will work. Let me remove the query and where. Let me explain it again, that what we are doing in here. So we are filtering here. If parent ID is equal to empty string, it means show all the files and folders. Okay, we have this issue. Cannot read properties of undefined. Reading includes. So let me just have and check here for this and this. Save. It's fine now. So yes, where was I? Let me explain. This is the case, or this was the case for if the parent ID is empty, it means the root folder. Else, if the parent ID is equal to parent ID, show only those posts for nested folders. Now, what we have to do, the second check is, if this is true and either one of them is true, and they are, if our email is inside this array, it means it is shared. So this post that I am having, this file I am having, it has been shared to these two users. So if my email that I used to log in is inside this shared emails array, show it. Else, or I mean show them when this user email is equal to this user email. In both cases, if the post is our own, then the same thing we are doing in here, but this case is for nesting, so you have to get it. Fine. Now let me show you sharing a post to other user. Like we have shared this to nishan550@gmail.com. Let me create one more, let's say, folder. We can say, let me create two folders. That first one will be folder 1, click create. Second one will be shared folder, click create. They are both here. Let me share the folder to some user called Nishant as 550@gmail.com. Now it is, or it should be in here. This is for shared folder. We have shared it to this user. So this post will be shown to Nishant as 440 and Nishant 550@123@gmail.com. So we can come to sign up with the other user. This one, we have wrong key here. So if item dot shared to is equal to user email, then show it. Now it will be in here. So these two files, this image and shared folder, are now shared to me. So that is how we create shared files and folders. So yes, that is how we create a Google Drive clone using Next.js